Welcome to Iconic. Today we have Haley Bowler-Cooke, who is a best-selling author and a woman who has challenged me personally in real life in the way that she is absolutely fully embodied. She is free, she is expressed, and she shares today how she absolutely loves herself. Something that can be very challenging and confronting for women who have not experienced that fully themselves. She gives us a beautiful practice to come back to ourselves and our bodies. So stay tuned for something really beautiful that you can timestamp and come back to over and over. And we talk and define what actually is an iconic woman. This is an excellent episode, something that's going to fill your lungs with air, have you soften your edges, and remember that it really is about time to love yourself. Haley, you're here on Iconic, and I am so pleased to have you open this up with me today because when I met you, I felt really uncomfortable in certain ways. But uncomfortable because you, to me, defined embodiment. You are so comfortable in your body, so free, so expressed. And it actually mirrored to me the ways in which I am still stifling some of that for myself. And that's where I want to go right away. I really want to understand how you got to this place of such beautiful feminine embodiment.
Wow. Thank you, Jen. I love that you're the type of person that can honestly say, like, you made me feel uncomfortable. I'm sure you make a lot of women feel uncomfortable as well in a way that they expand, in a way that they grow. That's part of being iconic is, you're not apologizing for being exactly who you are. And I don't know where to begin with this. I've always been, and my mom said this, I came out of the womb like literally smiling, giggling. I wouldn't cry in my bassinet. I would giggle. Like they would wake up in the night and be like, oh, is she okay? Oh, she's giggling herself back to sleep. Like I was very joyful, very light. And it's not to say I haven't gone through shit in my life. I have. And that's made me extremely powerful. But I've always just felt really like I love myself. I look in the mirror and I'm like, I love myself. Being pregnant right now and experiencing the changes that are like, if you don't have a foundation of self-love and you're growing a baby, it's extremely confronting and vulnerable because your body's changing so much. But I just always had this feeling of like, I love me and I love everyone and everyone is beautiful as they are. And I also I studied clinical kinesiology. So my entire education was in the human body, which unknowingly a lot of pressure gets thrown at you in terms of like performance and aesthetics.
Right.
So that, and I come from a very high performing family as well, very loving, spiritual, conscious family. But my dad was a professional athlete. He coached in the Olympics. So like performance was important.
Right.
My parents are extremely attractive and like everyone knows that and says that about them. Right. So like attraction, like things like that were always important. And sometimes if you're not fully grounded, it's easy to get pulled. And there was a couple years there where I was actually battling some anorexia athletica myself. And it really fucked with my physiology. Like I lost my period for almost a year.
Wow.
Lots of things like that happened.
Okay.
And I had to reclaim safety in my body and I had to really be comfortable with myself. But other than that, like 2-year blip where I was just so heavily into personal training and fitness and all that, I've just really loved looking at myself, really loved like moving. Like I'm the type that like, if I'm making love, I'm like, I'm looking at myself, and
that's
my
natural?
Yeah. Yeah. Like for me, yeah, I guess.
So interesting.
Or like in a mirror, like I'm like, I was like looking at myself. Like I really love myself. And even if I
Wow.
see an imperfection, like right now being pregnant is vulnerable. Like I have a varicose vein starting on my leg, which
Right.
mortified me. I was like, this is not acceptable. And then I was quickly to be like, no, this is beautiful. Like that I'm growing a baby. I'm expanding my womb. I'm expanding my body for life. Like it's okay if my skin changes. It's okay if my body changes. Like this is absolutely beautiful. And then learning to see imperfections in other people and find that beautiful and not conform to everyone looking the same and this obsession with a standard ideal of what things look like. So a lot of being embodied is like loving yourself no matter what. And I love and value a lot of superficial things too. Like I love when I have abs. I love when my legs look really lean and toned. Like I love when my hair is blonde in the summer. Like these are the things that I love, and I love myself no matter what. And it's this, I had a mom that loved herself. I had a mom that like would walk around naked, and she would tell us how beautiful we are and talk lovingly to herself. I think that as women, if we can demonstrate that to our children, they're more likely to have high self-confidence.
Yeah. So that that's really interesting, because a couple of things were popping up for me as you were talking. You know, there's going to be women listening to this right now who hear you just so openly celebrate how much you love yourself.
Yeah.
And that, even for myself, I'm just being honest, in real time, makes me slightly uncomfortable. And not because that's wrong. I'm not judging that.
Yeah.
It's more of a judgment of myself. It's more of like, how come I don't feel like that's available fully for me? Why is that something where I feel like I need to be humble? And so I would love you to talk a little bit around, I want to come back to your mom too, but I want to talk a little bit around how you love yourself, because I don't see ego in this. I'm not hearing you and thinking you're like, I'm better than anybody else.
Definitely not.
It's that I fully celebrate who I am. So can you help us define what is ego, and then what your embodiment and self-love is?
So the foundation of my work is about being in the field of enoughness.
Okay.
So being in the field of enoughness is this frequency of like, I am enough. I am enough. And I have to say, there were years when I was operating from a lot more ego. And I used to say things like, why would anyone, like the I am enough mantra to me was like really basic and redundant. And I was like, this is not meaningful. But it's because I actually wasn't yet embodied in my own enoughness.
Okay.
There was always positioning. There was always, I am enough because I'm the best athlete. I am enough because I'm the hottest in the room. I am enough, whatever. There was still this like very subtle but sneaky conditioning and conditions and limitations around my enoughness. Okay. I'm enough because in my first year of business, I made this much money. I'm enough because I bought my dream car 1 month into starting my business. Like there was a little bit of ego going on there.
Got you.
And a healthy ego is great. Like there's absolutely nothing wrong with it if you are like identified with it in a way where it's a limitation. But when you operate from enoughness, you operate from what I call the dimension of openness. And in my book, Unfuckwithable, I have a whole chapter called the dimension of openness.
Yeah.
The dimension of openness is like, we are all divine. We are all divine. We are all one. There's absolutely no separation. So if there's absolutely no separation, if I'm watching TV and I see Haley Bieber, I see her beauty, I go, me too. That's me. I'm that beautiful. That's me. And if I see something in myself, especially going through pregnancy, it's more vulnerable emotionally, hormonally. Your body's changing. You're like, oh my God, like, do I look fat or am I pregnant? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, this is beautiful. Like, I love me. I love me. If I see someone, I used to be really uncomfortable seeing like unattractive people.
Wow.
It made me like go, I don't want to see that.
Talk to me about that.
I think it was like this inherent judgment of like, I could never be unattractive. I could never, like that. There was judgment around that.
Okay.
Or if I saw poverty, I was really allergic to, and there was positives in this. Like there's positives in creating a hologram and a reality where you only see what you want. So I was really allergic to things that would like not look like that. Where as I've deepened in my own groundedness and dimension of openness of like unconditional love and everyone and everything is divine, it's like I can see someone who's really struggling, whatever that may be, and be like, oh, like God bless them, love them, like take care of them. And like I can really give that from a genuine place. It's automatic.
Yes.
Right? Like yesterday I'm at the grocery store, there's a homeless person. I can, instead of like, I don't want to see that, it makes me uncomfortable. It's like, I'm going to go get them some groceries and I'm going to look in their eye and I'm going to say like, God bless you.
Good.
And connect, right?
Yeah,
So
love that.
it was like the avoidance, the judgment led to avoidance, where now it's like I'm so secure in my beauty, in my health, in my power, in my divinity. It doesn't mean I prefer to hang around people that aren't taking care of themselves, etc. But I'm not like so allergic to it that it makes me feel like I waver.
Well, it's interesting because I would define you as somebody who's very soft. Like I don't
Yeah.
see edges with you.
Oh,
And so
thank you.
when you're describing that, it actually, that's the image I had in my mind. Of
Yeah.
like there was some edges and those edges have been softened
There
and
were.
softened through growth. And it sounds to me like spirituality too. And that when you have that in your heart and your soul, you do see the world differently. You see
Yeah.
people as like love, and
Yeah.
because they were created in love just like we were. And you're right, there's some that are just in the midst of their own chapter, whether that be
Yeah.
struggle or whatever it is. And so to be able to see people is also such a beautiful thing of spreading capacity, because you talk a lot about capacity with your clients. And so for me, that's a form of capacity, of being able to see outside of ourselves. And you told that story really beautifully of like, it was, you saw yourself and you've always had that, but what grew is your ability to hold space for yourself and simultaneously open yourself to others.
Totally. Like, and I think it's being iconic. It's like you being able to imagine like, okay, if I didn't have this perfect life and this perfect husband and this perfect career and this all this perfection, that like I'm big on standards too. Like your standards determine how the world responds to you, period. But there's a fine line between standards and perfection. And perfection is like a lot of ego. Standards is God. Standards is divinity. Standards is I get to, why wouldn't I? I'm here in this temporary experience.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, so it's being in the consciousness of standards. It's very different. So you have to watch when you waver, and like for everyone listening and watching, it's like, where are you operating from a standard and where are you operating from perfection? You'll know it's perfection because it'll feel like this performance. It'll feel like it has to be this way, and like if it's not this way, it's not right. Whereas standards, it's like my standard is like I'm beautiful. My husband's beautiful, our family's beautiful, our home is beautiful, like my career is beautiful, everything about my life is beautiful, travel, luxury, everything. And I'm not going to have a panic attack if I show up somewhere and it's not exactly as I wanted, or you know what I mean? It's like that really like control, dropping the control and coming to this softness. I love and appreciate how you said there's no edges, because there was a couple of situations in my life where I was so free flowing and so open. My heart was so open. And these two really challenging things happened within 2 years that shook my foundation of trust. And I was like, I can't trust anyone. I cannot trust anyone. And even though I wasn't consciously saying I can't trust anyone, my physiology was perceiving I can't trust.
Yeah.
And I think most women and men and humans have experienced that. And they close off and they develop edges. And I did that. I developed some edges, and I'm actually grateful for it, because it was a part of myself that like I became unfuckwittable in a very badass way that like is an energy I channel all the time. Like even driving down to Toronto last night, I was like, I had my Nicki Minaj, I had my Cardi B, and I was just like rapping and popping off, and I was like, I am this, and I am also like over here, God connect me to my divinity, and like hugging and loving and connecting and making everyone feel. But it's the thing about being iconic too, is it's like, it's not a manipulation of the hologram. It's not, I'm going to manipulate how you see me. I'm not going to people please so you see me a certain way. I'm not going to perform in this way so you see me a certain way. It's just, I'm just literally being me. So if right now who I am is like, don't fuck with me, or if right now is who I am is like, I love you, it's like, that's beautiful, because it's genuine, it's real, it's of the divine, as opposed to this performance. And when we can really check with ourselves, like, am I manipulating the hologram? And if you're trying to manipulate how people see you, because you're a good girl, you want to be humble, you want to be nice, you want to be that person that makes everyone feel a certain way, it's like, that's selfish. That's a manipulation.
It is.
You're manipulating human beings.
And it's ego.
Totally.
Because it's what do you think about me? I want you to like me.
Yes.
I want to impress you so I feel good. Like there's so much ego involved. That was a hard lesson for me in my life because I would never have defined myself of having ego. But ego doesn't always look one way. And when it was reflected to me that you're so in the ego because you care so much about what people think of you. I was like, no, that's the opposite. Like that means I don't have an ego. No, you do, because you care so much about what people think of you, that I was shape shifting to the point where my voice would even change. I would start mimicking people's accents, not on purpose, but all of a sudden I had like this Southern accent. I'm like, I never, what happened here? I've also since learned, because I really had to dive into that, like what happens to my body and why but it also means like creativity and intelligence and like emotional connection. So I'm going to celebrate that part of it.
Yes.
I will, but also I feel like it was a subconscious way of me connecting with someone and feeling comfortable with someone and not being truly who I am and just being so good about that.
Yes.
That's not been easy for me. Do you find a lot of women you work with, like, I feel it's so interesting because I'm challenged by you. If like, you're just like, I came out of the womb giggling. And I think that is such a amazing thing. I actually have a daughter. Her middle name is Joy. And same thing. She came out of the womb and we saw her dimple, like she was smiling. So I understand how that can actually really be someone's truth, but it's not the majority's truth.
Yeah. Well, I remember when you and I chatted on Zoom, like whenever that was, a month ago or whatever. And we talked about like, that we resonated on, like, you know, we're doing well, we're thriving, and we have been for a long time. It's hard to resonate sometimes with like these sad stories. But I had a friend, client, and cousin recently reflect to me like, no, Haley, you've actually been through a lot of shit. You just don't play the victim ever. Like, that's what it is. And I was like, you're so right. Because I was like, no, like, I've actually just had this amazing life. And then she's like, remember this, remember this, remember this, remember that, remember this. And I was like, oh, and like, then I double check, was I spiritually bypassing? No, I wasn't. I was literally just like, thank you for this really hard opportunity. I can look back on all those things and be like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and receive them absolutely fully. So it's like this appreciation for no matter what's happening, appreciating it. Thank you. Thank you. This is an opportunity. Thank you. I appreciate this. Thank you. I love this. And the things that have been seemingly challenging, I'm not just trying to pretend like it's all good. I'm like actually like in the moments. Like I remember when my heart was ripped out of my chest in this one moment in 2018. And at the same time, it was like, I was God in human form, and I felt like this immense forgiveness. I was just like, I love you, I forgive you. At the same time, I was like, oh, I'm gonna literally fucking explode from my skin. But I was like, I love you, I forgive you.
Amazing.
And the things that I've run up to, like being a happy, joyful puppy dog, like I've been like, sometimes that kindness is mistaken for weakness.
Yes, it can be.
It can be. And I've experienced that. And part of my initial unfuckwithable integration of being like this boss bitch was really like, do not fucking mistake my kindness for weakness. So I'm grateful for those edges that I did develop, because they really did help cultivate a standard of how people can treat me.
Yes.
And now in a completely different frequency and consciousness, it's like, it's not even necessary. Like I don't have haters. I don't, well, maybe I do, but I don't know of them.
Yeah.
Like I'm just in a different field and frequency where it's like, it really is all love. It really is all ease. And yeah, working with women, I work with women who are 8-figure earners, and they have these crippling, this crippling adaptation of how they are to be accepted or to be palatable or something. And it's like, that's why I love the work we do, because it's so vulnerable that it's like I get to actually see who they truly are. And then sometimes when I see them performing, I'm like, oh, you're performing.
And I've told this story so many times, but it is so timely. That was the best mentor I ever had and still do. We're just like more of like in this like beautiful relationship now. It was my very first call with her. And I remember showing up in the form of like, I want to impress her. I want to be her best client. Like, that's just a bit of my personality. It's high achieving. It's like, so
Which is great.
It is great, but I needed someone to see me in that form, to call me out of it because it has been so habitual.
Yeah.
And she stopped me about 5 minutes in and she said, I don't think I can move forward with our call today. You're in such a performative persona that I'm not going to be able to really know you. And so she had me go do a few things like human design. And there was a couple of other things that she just like, I want you to explore and learn about yourself and know yourself so the work that we do can be magnified. And I remember feeling so seen.
Yep.
Not in a bad way, actually, in a really healthy, like I actually needed a woman to see me and call me on this, but also a little embarrassed because I was caught. But it was transformative in my life because it changed. I thought, what if, and going back to your like enoughness, what if who I am in this very moment is absolutely perfectly divinely orchestrated? What if I am having enoughness in this conversation with you right now that I don't have to stress about the next question or whether you're enjoying the time? Like, what if I can just be?
Yes.
And that it changed things for me where I gained presence.
Yeah.
Because when you're performing, you're not in your body. You're not in the moment because you're taking note of everything going on around you. And that's been literally what I'm known for now is people like, when I'm with you, I just feel your full presence.
Yes.
But I wasn't always like that. And it was somebody saying you're performative. So women listening in right now, a lot of us were shaped to be performative.
Yes.
I know in my upbringing, that was a part of my upbringing. What can she do to start stripping down that performance? What can she do to notice? Or is there a practice? Is there a mantra?
Amazing. And I want to just echo to you, Jen, like you are so present. And when we sat together and had dinner the night before the event we both spoke at, the Momentum event, I felt like, oh, I'm glad we got sat together because presence is everything. Once you integrate that and you're living in like such a, I love who I am and I love life and I love everyone. If something feels inauthentic and there's performance, it's so, I'm allergic to it.
It's like smelly.
It's like, no, this is not it. And I can't, I literally will just walk away like in mid conversation because I do not give a fuck.
Yeah.
But I was so happy you and I sat beside each other and there was like this very beautiful presence and calmness and peace. And even I said to you, you know, walking in today to the studio, your entire team has a beautiful presence and energy. So I would love to, for the woman listening, I would love us to just, all of us to drop in, close our eyes. Number one, just notice like, is your jaw tight? Is your pelvic floor tight? Are you sitting in a way that's actually not comfortable? I mean, I'm personally sitting here on camera and I'm purposely sitting comfortably. It might not be my most flattering angle, but I really don't care because I love myself and I want to be comfortable and I want to be able to breathe and I want to be able to feel life and prana move through me. So I'm going to sit in a way that can happen. So as you're sitting, where can you actually get 1% more comfortable in your body? Where can you get more comfortable in your physiology? How quickly can you lower your heart rate? I work with a lot of high performing women, so I always say, how quickly can you? How quickly can you? And then they're like, oh, I'm going to get my heart rate down. I'll go, how quickly can you experience pleasure in the next breath? And they're like, oh, I'm going to do that. So it's like, it's fun. I love working with high performing women because they're badass, especially when they can soften. So how quickly can you experience pleasure in this moment? Maybe that's just like massaging your throat, your neck. Maybe it's like shaking a little bit, taking a big exhale, something to really drop in. And for many of us, if this is new to you, it might take a lot longer to get there. So don't rush. Take your time. What I want you to do and why we're doing this exercise is I want you to actually, maybe for once or for the first time in a long time, feel like it feels good to be me. I actually feel good right now. I can breathe. It feels good to be me. It feels good to be me. It feels good to be me. And when you can experience that lock-in, that integration of it feels good to be me, it becomes so glaring and so confronting and obvious and extremely uncomfortable to contort yourself. You just can't do it anymore. You can't shapeshift. You can't contort yourself. You can't suck in. You can't sit up tall when you actually just want to lean back. Like, you can't do it anymore. And when you let those edges down and that performance down, you actually become a much more embodied, magnetic, receptive, connected to your divinity being. And I speak often of God in human form and being God in human form. And the better you feel, the closer you are to God. The better you feel, the closer you are to the universe, if the word God isn't right for you. The better you feel, the closer you are to life. The better you feel, the closer you are to abundance. Whatever feels good for you, the better you feel, the closer you are to it. Because you're no longer contorting, you're no longer performing, you're no longer in the illusion of separation. But instead you're like, I am it. It feels good to be me. So I always just invite my clients, anyone listening, anyone I'm with, even if I'm having a girls' night, I'm like, okay, let's get really comfortable. Like, let's, if we're pouring wine or something. Before I was pregnant, it would be like, okay, like, let's get in our comfies, let's get on the couch, like, let's be comfortable. If I am out at, a luxury 5-star restaurant, it's like, okay, how can I be the most comfortable in this environment? How can I make sure that, I'm locked eyes with the person I'm with, that I'm sitting in a way that I'm not, crossing my legs in a way that's performative, but actually in a way that feels sexy, feels good, feels embodied. Like, if there's any moment where it could be performative, I'm like, okay, I want to feel good in this. So like, if I'm doing a photo shoot, yeah, I might not be sitting in my most comfortable position, but I'm at least like, I'm gaining from this. I'm sexy. I'm powerful. I'm strong, versus like, this is my best side, or this is my best angle, so I have to like be tiny or be whatever. It's like, how can I feel better in this? So to answer your question, I think we already feel better now. I think we already feel like, yeah, I'm going to catch myself when I contort, because if my baseline is I feel good, if you try to contort from that for someone else, you will be redirected really quickly. I always say, and I write about this in my book, the more aligned you are, the more you crave alignment.
Yes.
So if you feel really good by yourself and you're in this zone, and then, someone shows up, whether it's a family member or a partner or a boss or a colleague or someone that you sometimes perform for, it'll all of a sudden feel really uncomfortable to do that.
Yes.
It won't be this, subconscious thing. You'll just actually be like, oh, that's not going to be the way anymore. And then you slip into a much more authentic state. And like you mentioned at the beginning of our conversation today, my embodiment and my just being with myself was really inspiring and expanding and uncomfortable, because a lot of women are not encouraged to do that.
That's it.
A lot of men aren't either.
No,
a lot of people aren't.
And I think and thank you for that practice. So anybody watching, listening, this is something you can timestamp for yourselves as well, just to come back to just the way you articulated that and voiced it. It was velvety. It was calm. It was peaceful. It was breath and lungs. And so thank you for that, because what you're saying and what you're showing just through your lived example is the fact that we can change and become more grounded, more embodied in the moment. We don't have to wait for this big breakthrough. We don't have to have a new wardrobe. We don't have to be with the right person. We can choose to be embodied in this very moment at this very time by being aware, coming back to ourselves, noticing. The word intentionality came up for me when you were going through that practice of like how intentional you are. And I feel like that these ingredients is what makes an iconic woman. The ingredients of love, compassion, big vision, intentionality, alignment. This it's so attractive when most people are looking for that through their messaging and their graphics. It's like, do you know what could happen in your messaging and with your graphics if you started with yourself first? Everything becomes so much more attractive, magnetic, powerful. Delicious. I love to use that word. It's like when I work on my branding, it's not the branding first, it's Jen first, the branding follows.
Yeah.
And so I really appreciate that women listening in right now have been very boldly reminded to tap in, to feel their bodies. And I do agree with you. I have not been exposed to that. So to have someone like you walking out in the world and sharing that is so important, because there's some of us who just don't know. There's some of us who have forgotten, and there's some of us that are just stuck in that loop, and you're an interrupter for all those things.
Thank you. A few things I want to say. I know we're probably getting close on time. When you relaunched your website was right when we kind of met.
Yes.
And so I was like so excited because I was like right on your page because we were just talking.
Yeah.
And I looked at this one video and it was you. It was on Instagram. And you were like walking in the streets. And I remember being captivated because you see a lot of, models or women or people walking out in the streets, and it's just kind of like their clothes look cool and the edit's cool and whatever. But there was something about the way you were like locked with the camera and like moving in your body that like I literally was like, oh, she is iconic. Like, and I wanted to mention that to you. I don't know if I commented or anything on that message or on that post, but I really felt that of like what you just said, you're doing it. Jen first, then the branding comes through. And I've had people say this to me many times too, like they feel my brand is felt. And a few things I want to leave with everyone, and I say this to my clients all the time. Number one, how are you breathing? How are you breathing? How are you breathing? If that's your anchor all day, every day, you're good. You're good. How am I breathing? How am I breathing? Especially for moms, CEOs, how am I breathing? That's your number one. Because if you're used to shallow breathing all day, it's very easy to contort yourself and perform.
Yeah.
When you're contorting and performing, you've taken yourself out of the God zone. You've taken yourself out of I am God in human form. I am the divine. I am the universe. I am the creator. And now you're in this, I'm actually this like slave to life versus like, no, life's coming through me. I'm creating. So that's number one. The other thing I love to say, if you're watching this and you're a speaker, an actress, a musician, a coach, an entrepreneur, whoever, if you have a personal brand, what you need to, these are your two things. How do I feel and how am I being felt? How do I feel is enough for the general population, because not everyone gives a shit how they're being seen or felt.
Right.
But if you're a personal brand, it's important because you have this God-given, born with it, knowing that you're here for impact, to be seen, to be recognized. The next important thing is, how am I being felt? You can't, if you bypass to how am I being felt and you don't care about how you feel, it's performance. But if your foundation is how do I feel, and then from there this overflow, and that's the enoughness field. It's like, oh, it feels so good to be me. And then it's how am I being felt? It's like, how is my dream customer or client feeling me right now? When they think of Haley, when they think of Jen, when they think of me, how do they feel? If you are an actress, it's like, how is my presence being felt? If you're a musician, a singer, songwriter, how is my transmission of my voice being felt? So it's like, how do you feel and how are you being felt? And then when you get into that state of like how you are being felt, you could be on vacation, you could be sleeping, you could be driving your car. It doesn't matter where you are, you're impacting, you're influencing, someone's finding you, someone's hearing about you, someone's connecting you, someone's going, oh my God, I need to work with Jen. Oh my God, I need to connect her to this person, like, because your frequency is being felt.
Yes.
So that's fucking iconic. And the last thing I want to say about being iconic, unless maybe we have more time than I know, but I'm like intuitively feeling like we're getting close. When you think of, like, let's all just close our eyes and think of like someone who's iconic. Like, what sort of traits come up? Like, why are they iconic? Why would you go and say they're iconic? They're iconic. Oh, that's iconic. That's iconic. like what comes up for me, it's like someone who's like really badass, someone who's really unapologetic, someone who's really themselves. What about you, Jen? Like what kind of traits are coming to you as
I
you?
would say individuality. So
Yep.
being yourself, individuality comes up for me. Being willing to have your own point of view. So there's a little bit of like being seen, being heard, being felt, and
Yep.
not contorting, as you have said many
Yep.
times, to just regurgitating messaging. Thoughtfulness
Yep.
comes forward. Leadership comes forward for me. Someone that likes to squiggle outside of the lines.
Yep.
So they don't perform or
Yep.
belong in a box, and they actually avoid it. It's like
Yep.
the ick for them. That comes up because anybody iconic, if I were to think of the names and the women and even yourself in front of me, what I think about is someone doing something that is so expressive and so much a part of what they're meant to do,
Yep.
and they embrace it and they celebrate it, they hone it. It's something they can't let go of. It's
Yep.
almost like a bit of an obsession, but a healthy obsession,
Yeah.
because you just know you're in your purpose, doing what you want to do, doing it in the way you love to do it,
Yep.
and being open to allowing that path and journey to unfold the way it is. There's a freedom.
Freedom. That's a good word. Everything you said, and you can tell you're passionate about being iconic, and that's why here you are and what you've created. But as you're sitting and listening to this, and really feeling this, it's like, notice what words come up. Are you being that? Or is that you? Like, you want to get it again, the illusion of separation. You want to remove the illusion of separation and be it. It's like,
Yeah.
I am it. I am free. I am unapologetic. I am these things. And you said it really well. They can't not, you can't not. It's like this healthy obsession. When you are someone who's iconic, you're not just being embodied. You're not just being like, oh, it feels good to be me. You're willing to be seen in that.
Yes.
And that's the shift. And the people who are here with us today, listening, watching, they know they're not just meant to like feel good and thrive and like live this life and like, oh, I feel so good. They're meant to like give that.
Yes.
And that is like God, divine, universe, life expressed. It can't help but to give. It can't help but to grow. And I feel like the iconic woman, it's like, she's fucking iconic behind the scenes all day long.
Yeah.
If there was a camera following her around, documentary style, like they'd be like, holy, this woman is iconic. And she wants that documentary to reach millions and billions of people because she's like, let me share this, let me give this. And being seen in your iconicness, like being seen in your free expression, being seen in your, you can't cancel me, these are my thoughts, being seen in that is, it's like this next level of vulnerability. And because individuation leads to oneness, it's like, yes, it feels good being me, and I want to share it with billions of people.
Yeah.
So I love what you're doing here. I love that we got to have this conversation, and I'm excited for everyone who's receiving this to, first off, how do I feel? Now, how am I being felt? And that's that iconic shift. That's the vibe.
Thank you, Haley.
Thank you,
You're a
Jen.
gift.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.